Verse 8, chapter 48, verse 8. When Israel saw Joseph's sons, he said, "Who are these?" Verse 9. Joseph said to his father, "They are my sons, whom God has given me here." And he said, "Bring them to me, please, that I may bless him." Now the eyes of Israel were dim with age, so he could not see. So Joseph brought them near him, and he kissed them and embraced him. Okay, so again, this now sounds a little bit strange. Just before, Jacob was like, oh, or Israel, better. It's like, these two boys, they will be like my own sons. And my wife died on the way. Now I already explained that part, why they, as a justification, legal justification for adopting them, her early death. Then, but now all of a sudden, here he's asking again, oh, who are these? Who are they? Okay, this is two things at play here. First, the whole story of Isaac and blessing Jacob. Okay, while in Isaac blessing Jacob, thinking he's blessing Esau, his eyes were dim as well, like Jacob's eyes dim now. So he can't see so well. In that case, his wife and his son lied to Isaac so that Jacob would get the blessing. Now in this case, what is clearly showing the difference between the two stories. We've already seen the difference in how Isaac sent Esau to go and make the food he'll have to eat, right? He was thinking with that, not with in the right way. Jacob was not thinking, Joseph was not thinking like that. And the difference clearly is the fact that they will lie to him when they ask who are they. Okay? I'm Jacob. No, I mean sorry, I'm Esau. But you sound like Jacob. Right? Coming like that, touch you, all of those things, remember? So in this case, so this mention in this verse of who are they kind of idea, right? That is a flashback to that happening, connecting those pieces and showing the difference between this story and that story. Okay, it's totally different. This blessing is totally different. It wasn't gotten by deceiving anyone. Right, that is the next point that's very important. Again, because this would have been a question to the people. So why are they getting two pieces, each getting their own tribe? This is not fair. So they are making sure again to show that it's not a question because they were deceiving Jacob and therefore Ephraim and Manasseh got land. And so therefore we need to hate them more or something like that and repeat. Jacob wanted to make sure, Israel wanted to make sure that the story is not going to repeat itself, that they will know legally and the way how it's supposed to be that Ephraim and Manasseh they deserve, and you don't need to hate them. It's not that they did anything wrong. This is as well why Moses is clearly lifting it out. Okay, the difference between the justification. So Ephraim and Manasseh adopted like his sons, the explanation given that because Rachel actually died young, right? And then ultimately again, but maybe he made a mistake, maybe the wrong ones, maybe Joseph, no, this is Ephraim and Manasseh, right? It's not an Esau-Jacob story, it's a different story. They were not, the sons of Israel were not deceived out of getting their deserved piece of land, and the sons of Ephraim and Manasseh came in and they basically took more than they deserve, right? So in that sense, this is again not a rambling of an old man and stuff like that. They kind of, this is just pointing back to that, right? This is why Moses is making such a very strong legal ultimately point about this, right? Could there have been some old age rumbling in that? No, I mean, if there were, this is not the point that Moses is trying to make, because he is trying to justify the fact that they deserve, right? So whatever happened, this is led by God, as we're going to see from the fact how he's going to bless, not just the one or the oldest first and then the youngest kind of idea, but it's his choice, not forced upon him. It's going to be his choice. Right. Okay, so this is the explanation. So for who are they? Joseph said, they are my sons that God's given me here. Remember, they were born to Joseph when he was still in the land of Egypt and he didn't know about his family. It's even a question of, God help me to forget my family kind of idea, right? And so Jacob, Israel saying, bring them, I can bless them. So again we see they get the blessing first before the other sons in the next chapter. And in verse 10, the explanation of his eyes are dim. That points towards the same with Isaac. But because there's no deceiving, the story totally differs from the story of Isaac. So ultimately after this, it wasn't a question of Ephraim and Manasseh had to flee anywhere because everybody was now angry at them or Joseph had to do something because they were angry at him for deceiving and stealing from his father. And the verse just ends with Joseph bringing them near. He kissed them, he embraced them. As well, the difference, there was no need for extra skin, for trying to. Okay, in Isaac, where Isaac said, come near to me, the reason he did it was to make sure that this is Esau. Right? That is why he had to put the skin and all of those kinds of things. And the clothes of Esau he had to wear. So his father could smell the field. Right, the trees give a different smell. The sea gives a different smell than up there in the mountains. Right, so Jacob's clothes would have been smelled different than Esau. That is why his mother had him put on Esau's clothes. So there, the reason for him coming close and the kissing part was actually done by Isaac, so as to determine if this guy is deceiving me or not. Is this really Esau? In this case, this is not why they are. This is just a follow-on. They are my grandchildren. They are now my sons. And so therefore I'm doing it for them. See, again, a total opposite story. Verse 11. And Israel said to Joseph, I never expected to see your face. And behold, God has let me see your offspring also. Yes, Jacob thought that Joseph is dead. For years he thought, for more than 20 years, he thought Joseph is dead. And now he's not only again seeing his son, but he's seeing his son's children who he adopted as his own as well. Okay, and he stated this clearly again as God's work. Although the sons, his sons sold him into slavery, and I guess by now he knew the story, right? And so they deceived him like he deceived others. Joseph never deceived him. There's no deceiving going on here. But he's ultimately pointing out that this God allowed me to do this. So they had this evil plan, but God ultimately, like Joseph told his brothers as well, were at work through all of this evil. Verse 12. Then Joseph removed him from his knees and he bowed himself with his face to the earth. Okay, so they were hugging, kissing, the two sons. Now he takes them back again and bowing down before Jacob. Okay, which ultimately is going to now lead into the whole blessing. Verse 13. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought him near to him. So ultimately Joseph is now sorting the two boys out by age, so that the oldest will get the blessing. His father will be able to put his right hand on the boy that is the oldest, and the other hand on the boy that's the youngest, because the oldest needs to get the blessing, right? As Laban said, well, this is now done, though you can't give the youngest away in marriage before. We know that's the norm. Again, I want to say, I've mentioned in other videos as well, this is not norm in absolutely every human culture throughout the history. I know cultures today, actually a culture of someone standing in front of me, who where the youngest is the most important. Right, so in their culture, what is happening here would make total sense. But this is what Jacob was supposed to do. Israel is supposed to bless the youngest and not the oldest. Right. But in their culture, no, the oldest. So therefore, Joseph sorted them out, the two of them, and he brought them to Israel, right? Israel the whole time now, for a blessing. Let me just read the verse again. And Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it on the head of Ephraim, who was the younger, and his left hand on the head of Manasseh, crossing his hands, for Manasseh was the firstborn. In brackets is an explanation. This is not right. This is going to explain the next verse. So Joseph made sure by bringing Manasseh so that Jacob's right hand can be on his. Jacob clearly understood the culture. He knew the culture. He knew he was not supposed to get the blessing. And so he made now the choice. He knew Joseph is going to do this. Joseph is not deceiving. He knew Joseph is not going to deceive him, which is as well a very important point. Total difference than how he deceived his father, Isaac. And Joseph was not deceiving him. So, but he knew he had to bless the younger. So he took and he crossed his hands, right? So the same thing is happening here, like with him and his brother Esau. That is, he got the blessing, although he was the younger. In this case as well, the younger. But there it happened because of deceiving. They stole it. In this case, it's a choice made by Jacob.